Welcome to Chaos Divided, your weekly dose of WholesomeHammer, where we explore the hobby, the game, and the lore of Warhammer 40k. We're your hosts, Nurgle Snurgle and Blushing Noise Marine. This week we're joined by our extra specialist guest, Jarrett, the Blood God himself, and we'll be chatting about the remaining Traitor Primarchs, their stories, their lore, and everything else. Now, we've got to get started with a quote, and I think you got a spicy one ready for us, so let's hear it, Blood God.
Gods, something you cannot see. The existence of such things is illogical. Perturabo.
Maybe. Maybe you said it.
Well, you definitely said it in like such a tone. It was one of my favorite parts of the book, anyway.
I always assume Perturabo talks like that. I feel like
well, even
Perturabo gets out of bed and is just like, "Hello, I require a cup of recaf."
Yeah, it's just a deep, gruff, angry voice all the time.
How long do you think it takes for him to make his coffee?
Oh, it's instant.
And many machines.
Oh, it's friggin' instant. He's got some kind of weird, crazy machine that he's built in his office where he presses a button and it leads it all the way around the room to bring him one cup of coffee, like about this big, and he goes, "Delicious."
Servitor,
do you think he takes his coffee black? Slippers.
No, I think Perturabo would take his cream with coffee.
Oh, really?
Oh, I think so. There's one. I can just imagine him having one thing after all the crap he does just in his office, like pours a cup full of cream, and this dainty little servitor comes over and puts like 3 little drops of coffee, and he's like, too much. Smash! And then drinks it anyway.
You know what? I think it's relevant for the time of year. Is Perturabo a pumpkin spice latte enthusiast? I think
no. Oh, I don't know. I think.
So you gotta think. I
think that's more of a Fulgrim drink right there. I think.
Nah. Well, okay. You know what? I agree. But I can also see like Perturabo's like the hidden shit. Like would have a different cup to put over the other cup so nobody knows he has it. It's the you're so curmudgeonly. You're like you would never admit you enjoy the pumpkin spice latte, but it's actually like the one thing that brings you joy every fall. Perturabo's just like, I've been sieging for 17 months. Pumpkin spice lattes are the only thing that can bring me warmth.
I always imagined him like in a lineup and everyone's putting like sugar in their coffee, and then he comes up, he looks at everyone and grabs the salt and pours it into his coffee with a grin.
Perturabo?
Yes.
Oh, that's sinful.
But then he doesn't actually drink that one. That's all for show. That's all part of the when your name literally sounds like you're perturbed all the time, like
because he is. He's pissed all the time. That's why he's literally the epitome of he is the Salt King.
You know what? We did all the other ones in alphabetical order, but we've definitely gotten into Perturabo first, so we're going to be a little chaotic, and we're going to come back to Mortarion later, I think. Let's talk about the salt
Best for last, right?
Yes, the King of Salt, the King of Mechanics, Perturabo. Let's get into it. So where do we begin with Perturabo? His beginnings during the Horus Heresy, all the fun stuff he did when he slammed his brother's face into a table and made fun of him, which is one of my favorite parts.
Yes.
Let's
do it.
Well, I mean, one of my classic favorite moments for Perturabo is during the Angel Exterminatus when he is being taken by Fulgrim to essentially find some kind of secret weapon, and Fulgrim's being Fulgrim as usual, and Perturabo's getting a little bit irritated with all the stuff he's doing, like laying siege to planets, just creating a mess of the entire situation. So at one point he's sitting at his table and he has these tiny little Warhammer figures of like Warhound Titans and things, and he's moving them around and building them, and Fulgrim makes a comment. It's like, "Oh, you enjoying your toys, brother?" He's like, "Hey, Fulgrim, come here for a minute. Just come here for a minute. I'm not interested in your toys. Humor me. Come here for a minute." Sits down, grabs the back of Fulgrim's hair and slams his face into the table, slams it again, smashing the models, comes up, his face is all bloody, slams him into a wall, and then begins to chastise him about how you've caused a mess this entire situation. I am now in charge. You are not in charge. I am now in charge. I'm going to lead us into the maelstrom. I'm going to be calling the orders. Your men will follow my direction. If you don't, I will leave you and all of your fleets here in the middle of space, and I will move on without you. Fulgrim says some comment like, oh, so you're going to treat me like a dog? Is that what you're going to do now, brother? No, I don't want a dog. I need an equal. Well, then that makes no sense because I am far above you, brother Perturabo. And he holds his hammer and he goes, then why am I the one holding the hammer?
Did Fulgrim have like bits all over his face?
Oh, he had pieces. Yeah, his like pieces of his teeth were jammed through his lips. It was just like it. Like you ever watch Supernatural? Dean after Sam just beats the crap out of him with whisper. He basically looked like that. Just teeth everywhere, black eyes. It was pretty bad.
I don't think Blushing Noise Marine can picture that.
Oh, I can.
It was glorious. Just the whole grab him by the back of his hair. I imagine like wrapping his ponytail around his knuckles and then just slamming Perturabo over and over.
Have like
again.
That baby grip, like when a baby grabs your hair, they really grab.
Yeah, you got baby grip, you got Perturabo grip with servos attached to it. Slam. Oh, it was so good.
I mean, Fulgrim then also goes on to build his pithy Colosseum to put the Iron Warriors in their place. So there's a whole like back and forth between those two. Oh yeah,
it's a huge back and forth. Like Perturabo was just disgusted with Fulgrim throughout the entire like whole journey to do this. And in the end, pretty much gets tricked by Fulgrim and has all of his energy drained, his life force, which Fulgrim uses to become a Demon Prince. And then that's one of the main reasons why Perturabo has to become a Demon Prince himself to save his own life.
Oh.
Yeah.
Just like Angron, how he was like on the brink of death.
No, Angron wasn't on the brink of death. Fulgrim, no, not Fulgrim, sorry. I'm blanking on the name. What is it? Oh, no, what? Oh, no.
Conrad.
Lorgar.
Right.
Lorgar saw a moment of absolute rage from Angron while he was fighting his brother Rubute Gilliman, and he did the prayers and turned him into it. Whereas Perturabo was tricked. His entire life force was taken away from Fulgrim, and through the rest of the it wasn't the Crusade. Yeah, it was the Crusade to Terra. Throughout the rest of the Crusade to Terra, he just seemed different. Mm-hmm. And some of his soldiers could tell there's something wrong with Perturabo. Things are changing about him. They noticed that some of his armor plates were starting to almost grow or flex. Even one of the people on his ship noticed that when he was walking back onto the ship, his armor seemed to move like it was flesh instead of being metal, showing that he was starting to go through mutations and accepting chaos because he was starting to die. And eventually he created a trap for his brother to get the gene seed from the Imperial Fists, make it into a sacrifice, and
Dorn.
Dorn.
Yeah.
It was called the Iron Cage because Dorn promised that he would bring Perturabo back in an iron cage. So Perturabo was like, all right, challenge accepted. He built a massive fortress, literally in the shape of a Chaos Star. And while Dorn and his forces were sieging the planet and destroying this entire fortress that he built, what he didn't know was that Perturabo had built underground tunnels that all of his men were using to get across the battlefield.
That I totally built for myself, and there are no hidden passages.
No traps whatsoever. I don't do siege warfare. Let's do this, brother. Next thing you know, Iron Warriors are popping up out of nowhere, literally out of the ground, and they get pushed back completely. Actually, Rubute had to save Dorn from that situation, and with that, he had what he needed to make the offering to the Chaos Gods and became what we know now as what do we know that he is now as a Demon Prince of Undivided. He doesn't worship any one of the gods. He's just I'm right in the middle.
Why is there such a feud between the Iron Warriors and the Imperial Fists?
Because deep down, Dorn is getting to do all the things that Perturabo believes he should do.
Or wants to do.
Yes. Wants to do, believes he should do. I mean, Perturabo doesn't even want to go to war. He wants to build things and be an architect, which is what Dorn is doing.
He's the ultimate engineer.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're both very, very similar. They're both identical. And Perturabo doesn't understand why his father chose Dorn to protect the palace, why his father chose Dorne to build the palace. Like all these things that were created in beauty on Terra, Perturabo wanted to be a part of. Even when he was a young boy on the planet of Olympia, Olympia, and he had his father, his adopted father, teaching him. His adopted father wanted Perturabo to go to war, and he's like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to destroy things. I want to create. He even had a small room at the top of the tower where he would draw sketches of all the buildings and things and gazebos and stuff that he wanted to make. And when his dad comes up and says, okay, it's time to go to war, he goes, I don't want to do this. I'm tired. I want to make stuff like this and this and this, and just throwing papers around them, showing him pictures of really nice things he's built. I want to make stuff. I don't want to break things. And then for whatever weird reason, he gets really mad and petulant and goes, fine, I guess I'll just go to war now. And then goes to war and is the absolute best general they've ever had.
I know I'm going to go on a little bit of a tangent, but it sounds like most of the Chaos Gods Primarchs did not want to go to war. Like
no,
like,
they were the ones that like definitely questioned the Great Crusade a lot more. Like definitely questioned the like necessity of it and like the means of it
and how it was being done.
Like that's part like Perturabo gets very disillusioned because the other thing, like the Iron Warriors are the ones that get stuck holding the Imperium together.
Yeah. Well, so they're literally holding
Nurgle
bag after everything.
Like they're the ones that man all the defensive structures. They're the ones that get stuck holding all the like, you know, strategic points that are like backwaters of nothing. So
all the
they just
Nurgle
battles they have to go into, they're the ones that get thrown into it. Like siege warfare. It's one of the worst types of combats and wars you can have, and they're the ones who get stuck into that stuff.
So their reward for going through like these brutal sieges is to then have to build the defenses that will then hold those points against other like enemies of the Imperium. So they get it on both ends.
Yeah. I think the tipping point for Perturabo was they were sent to fight an alien race. I don't recall what their name was, but they were able to shift in and out of reality, back and forth, to the point where if warriors got close to them, this aura of reality around them could actually alter time. Bullets would start to rust, armor would start to break down, Marines who would get into hand-to-hand combat with these things would suddenly just start to age, like go from 10,000 years within a couple seconds. And the war brought them to the brink of destruction, and then these aliens just went, all right, peace, disappeared. So Perturabo was there at the end of the battle, no victory, all of his men pretty much destroyed, in a backwater planet that no one cared about, and where was the Emperor? Where's everybody else? Does he get any glory for this? Does he get any like accolades? Does his men get any accolades? Do they get any kind of like, you know, good job, guys? No. And he was just like, I've had enough. I've had enough.
Well, and I think Horus was one of the only ones who actually like listened to Perturabo and would like actually like listen to his concerns, and that was part of why I think he turned traitor, was that Horus was like, hey, you will be like my Dorn, basically, like I will treat you as the like, you know,
you'll have my
revered
respect.
legion that you should be and that you've like, you know, earned already.
Yeah, and to a point he was right. Like if it wasn't for Perturabo and the Iron Warriors, the Horus Heresy wouldn't have happened. They literally carried the heresy on their backs with everybody else, with all the stuff they did. They're the one laying siege to the planets. They're the ones who cracked open Terra and got through. He was the one that went out and brought, Angron back into the fold. Because at one point, the other Chaos Primarchs kind of went off in their own directions. It was like, I'm going to do my own thing. Lorgar had to psychically and magically possess Fulgrim to get him to come back, where Perturabo just basically put the smackdown on Angron, beat the crap out of him, said, you're coming back with me.
How many brothers did he kick their ass?
He smashed the
corn
out of a lot of them. I think he's decked Kurz a couple of times. He's destroyed Fulgrim, smashed Angron. I think the only one he hasn't come to blows with was Horus and Lorgar. Yeah. He's definitely my cup of tea. For a while there, he wasn't, but no, Iron Warriors are really freaking cool, and especially Perturabo.
You mentioned a couple times about server skulls. So does he have server skulls around him all the time?
No, he doesn't have them around
Oh.
him, but like he might now. Like
Oh,
he was like
a demon Primarch full of server skulls just around?
I would imagine he would have needed the servo skulls because his armor was so decked out with tech. He could do pretty much anything.
Is there a Chaos servo skull equivalent?
Well,
Not that I
there's
know
servo
of.
skulls.
They're just like servo skulls will be just serve anything.
Yeah,
Or-
like they're just like in 40K there's no computers, so servo skulls are
Mhm.
like your equivalent to like a laptop.
Mhm.
Yeah, if you're a loyal Imperium servant, they take your head and they turn it into a servo skull, and you basically live that way. So Chaos worshippers, I assume they would just take a slave, imbue it with a demon, and then they have a demonic servo skull following them around.
Okay.
What I really think is, I think Perturabo is a giant obliterator. I think he's a freaking obliterator, because near the end of the Horus Heresy.
I don't know if he'd be that far like gone though, because he also had like such a logical mind. I can see him having the abilities of an obliterator, but I don't know because obliterators are also crazy.
Now that I agree with. I don't think he's crazy, but I think he's definitely like
built
what
like
was
an
it?
obliterator.
Well, after he fought Angron and his armor was like not ruined, but he'd taken some decent hits from Angron. During the battle, his warriors described Perturabo as having these array of weapons pop out of his back and arms that he did not have before, and is just giving it to Angron for all he's worth. And as he was coming back onto the ship, they said that they could see his armor almost mending itself, kind of like the flesh metal of obliterators. And he's one of the reasons why the obliterators were created. If I recall, one of his men got infected with a demonic virus on their ship, and that's how the first obliterators were created. So it's very possible that Perturabo was one of the first people that was in contact with that virus, and because he was a Primarch, maybe those effects took a little bit longer to take hold. Just like subtle things, instead of just the original guy where he just got massive and was able to create guns from out of anywhere. Perturabo made a couple extra ones, and then his big suit of armor became just part of him healing on its own. And when he became a demonic prince, they were like, let's just supercharge this, and now he is a gigantic logical obliterator. I think that'd be freaking cool.
That'd be terrifying. Can you imagine?
I know.
Do you think he should be like a large demon Primarch, probably maybe the biggest, just like full of mech?
Obliterators are more than double the size of a Marine, so like I don't know what he'd be at 20. He'd be a Titan basically. He'd just be like,
he should be massive, have a big hammer, and give him as many guns as an Imperial Knight can carry.
My God, can you imagine the data sheet on that?
Oh my! Oh. It's like this weapon, bing, 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 bing. Well,
tough 16, 1-up armor save.
Yeah.
Like,
I can only imagine what the gun profile.
You should have like a little Makari server skull. This one has a 2-up invulnerable save.
For 10th edition, it'll be like this, just like an obliterator sheet. Only be like this gun. Anti-infantry, anti-swarm, anti-mounted, anti-vehicle, anti-monster, anti-character, anti-titan, anti-this, anti-that. What's the anti? 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2.
And then like
with death wounds.
He just has he just on the piece of his armor is tattooed, I wound on 2s.
With like obliterators as bodyguards.
Yes. Oh, that'd be great. If there's any other Primarch I'd like to see turn into a Demon Prince for the game, it would be Perturabo.
Do you think he'll have wings?
No, he wouldn't have wings. He'd be on foot. Or maybe...
Well, they all have wings. You know what? Big jetpack.
Oh no, like Iron Man, like blasting off with the hands or something. Wow. Oh, that'd be cool. Like,
but the chaos would be the chaosy thing would be to have the giant like almost like rockets on your back.
Oh my,
yes,
he's definitely Rocket Man.
Okay,
so he is undivided.
Yeah.
He's not gonna choose any Chaos God.
No, he won't choose it. Like he's still upset with the fact that he had to do this, so he's not gonna really go either way. This was more demonhood for Perturabo was more of a necessity than it was a gift.
Is there any Chaos God that's kind of like eyeing Perturabo Like, oh, that.
I bet you Vashtor maybe has some dreams.
Oh,
That though, that would be a scary combination. Him and Vashtor knuckle bump for a bit. Holy crap! It's like, yo, I hear you like machines.
I hear you like demons.
Yeah,
because those two would kind of be similar in like concept.
And Vashtor wants to be a god.
Yeah. He would be the ultimate one that Perturabo would worship because he's destruction, but he's also creation, which is exactly what Perturabo wanted in the beginning. I want to create. I want to make things. I want to make pretty things.
Vashtor already has like a hammer, like a sledgehammer, so
they both have hammers. They can go ting ting. I'd like to see that. I would love to see that. I like the Iron Warriors. I actually have a small army of them myself, and I would love to see Perturabo hit the table at some point. Seeing some of the fan art of what they've created for his Demon Primarch form is just badass. There's one where he's got a metal plate. He's just this gigantic robot big hammer, and there's guns on his... He's got nipple guns, he's got shoulder guns, he's got neck guns, he's got a freaking tongue gun for all I know. He just has guns all over his friggin' body. I would love to see that model on the table.
I mean, as far as Chaos Primarchs that are both alive in 40k and, could meaningfully come back, like, I would imagine you'd see Perturabo before Lorgar for sure.
Yeah. I feel like Lorgar would be like the last one to come back.
Where is Perturabo right now?
I actually don't know. I think he's ruling his own little kingdom. Like, he's just got his own thing going on. He hasn't come into real space in the past
He's in Minecraft right now, right?
Probably. Just, like, on a gigantic forge planet making stuff. Because I don't see him getting involved with anybody's... Because he already got involved with everybody's during the Horus Heresy and afterwards. So he's like, I'm alive. I'm a demon prince. I'm going to do my own thing. And the Imperium, the Chaos Forces, I'm just doing my own thing.
It's going to be a heavily censored episode. Going to be extra vigilant editing this one.
Censoring. It's been a while. I forgot about censoring. I'm sorry. I'm been bad.
So it's going to be a lot of Zeuses and Nurgles and Slaneshes just getting shoved in there.
That's how much passion we have from Blood God.
Sorry, guys. Really? I have a lot of passion.
This is almost as much passion as Angron God. Like, damn. Perturabo was close to your heart.
I work in kitchens. It's like second language. I don't get just. Oh, I'm sorry.
There's nothing wrong with it.
A little bit.
But yeah, no. The other thing with Perturabo is he is one of the few Primarchs who actually likes his sons. Like he actually respect and part of his frustration with the Imperium is what the Emperor has forced his sons to do. Like the amount of them that die in the siege warfare, and then the amount of them that get left behind and are just never seen again because there's 4 of them guarding this planet and 7 of them guarding that planet and.
But it wasn't that way before in the beginning. Like when he first met his legion, he actually, quote, he found them wanting and declared decimation on his legion until they could prove themselves. Just like Angron, they actually had them do that over and over and over again until they became these hardened veterans. They were just he was like, there, that's what I want.
But then after that point, he's
he loved them. He was still a tyrant, but he still loved and respected them. Like there was one captain that disagreed with him at the beginning of his book. He backhands the captain, almost kills him. He wakes up in a dreadnought and Perturabo's like, yo man, I'm sorry I hit you. I didn't mean to. How you doing? I live to serve. Good. Excellent. So let's work past this. Thanks.
So you're a dreadnought now.
Yeah, you're a dreadnought now. Sorry, I got a little upset there and backhanded. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Talking about differences between the loyalists and the Traitor Primarchs. I think that the Traitor Primarchs in general liked their legions more than the loyalists did, but also the situations they were generally in. Like the Emperor's children were almost decimated. The Iron Warriors were almost decimated. The Emperor orders Magnus's murder and the destruction of his legion. So you've got a lot of of the Chaos legions. they're just regular soldiers get like really mistreated, like both before their founding and then after, which I think is a bit of an interesting thing you don't necessarily hear a lot about, is that like they also watch like their, you know, supposed sons, these things, like the Primarchs also have some connection to their legions, like that's also kind of baked in. And then they just see them just being caught, like and when we get into Mortarion, like the Death Guard also get mistreated a lot. So like there's a lot, like really, other than the like the Sons of Horus, and that's really just because Horus was so revered, they're probably the only ones that don't have like a tragic beginning or a tragic like story early on in their founding.
Yeah, and I believe it's majorly because a lot of them were just trying to live up to what their fathers were. The only ones I don't agree with that would be the Night Lords, because Curse
didn't like them.
No, he hated them and they hated him. It was a hate relationship. But all the other 4 legions, yes, they did so much to try and live up to their father's expectations that they almost destroyed themselves to do so. And then when they finally did live up to their expectations, it almost seemed like it still wasn't enough for some of them. Like for Fulgrim, it wasn't enough. He needed them to go to further and further heights. Perturabo may have been the only one who afterwards really did respect his men and treated them with courtesy, respect, honor. Like Angron only did when they got the butcher's nails. Fulgrim only did when they got like really deep into debauchery, or they started to work on their own perfections, no matter how weird they were. Mortarions, guys, they had to prove themselves time and time and time again in really grueling battles to their father to show that we are tough because we're from Barbarous. Magnus's Magnus
legitimately liked his
they were well, they were all scholars, and they were different. Like they were kind of forced into that whole thing that happened.
But don't they turn to dust?
That was
Ahriman that does that.
Yeah, that was Ahriman that did that. That was his fault. That was that little
and yeah, they also have this weird kind of thing where they're trying to like constantly prove themselves to Magnus. But Magnus does at least like genuinely somewhat care about them up until Russ like breaking his back, and then he kind of forgets and doesn't care anymore. But
and then later comes back and be like, my sons, we are all back together here in this one place. Let's rejoin as a legion and bring our might and crush the wolves.
So, but yeah, if you contrast that with like Guilliman, Dorn, the Lion, they even like Corax, they kind of have this like very ambivalent relationship with their like legions. Like they're almost just like constantly disapproving fathers. Is really how most of them behave. Guilliman and Dorn especially. The Lion like doesn't really like his legion because he just wants to be left alone to do his own thing. He almost finds it like annoying half the time that he has it.
Because they have that. There's that fracture between the Calibanites and the Terrans, and he's just like, why can't they all just stop and get along? Why?
But I can never tell them why they need to get along because secrets.
Secrets.
Like of the loyalists, like Jagatai, Khan, and Vulcan, I think are the only 2 who actually, and Russ to some extent also likes, actually likes their legion.
Russ loves his legion. He loves his.
He can drink with his legion.
Oh yeah, he's throwing a meat hall, just cracking off drinks and enjoying themselves. But yeah, the rest of them, they just have this, like you're right, this disapproving father look. Like Dorn, Dad, look what I did. Do it better.
Yeah, like even Fulgrim, like, you know, talking about Fulgrim expecting more, but he still talked to them and like engaged with them and also gave them a lot of freedom. Like there was more of a like trust there still. It was like, you know what, I want you to be better, but I'm gonna let you be better. Whereas like, you know, even in the novels, any of the novels that have like Dorn in it, Dorn just will show up and just be like wrong. Or it'll be like, you know, 90 pages later, Dorn will just be like, have you figured out why that was wrong yet? And like that's all he's there to say, and then just like disappears again to be like
Dorn is the most insufferable Primarch out of all of them. Like
no wonder he looks the oldest.
Like in the beginning of the attacks on like on the Soul System, like when the Alpha Legion shows up, Dorn figures it out but doesn't tell any of his captains what's going on because he wants them all to figure out, and then like half of them die to Alpha Legion like operatives, And then he's just like, well, I knew what was happening the whole time.
Ew.
And they're just like, what?
Laura, if we go Loyalist Primarch Edition, I don't know if I'm going to enjoy it.
Hey, here.
Can we just go,
hot take,
Dorn sucks. Gilliman, eh.
Like, because on the other side of
Dorn
it,
is...
like, the Alpha Legion, like, Alfarius and Oh My God have, like, told, like, they have their whole thing down to a T. They all know what's gonna happen. They know what they're supposed to do. And, like, the Imperial Fists are, like, 5 steps behind, but Dorn isn't, and just, like, wants to let it happen to see what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
like
my guys will figure this out.
Against the window.
Yeah, I have faith in them. They'll figure it out.
Yeah.
They're not figuring it out. Well, I'm sure they're going to figure it out. Have you figured it out yet? Because I know what the answer is. No, I'm going to let you figure it out. Look, hot take. There's, I like to say this. Dorn's hair is gray. It only turned gray after he got his Legion.
Right.
He used to have a beautiful black mane of hair that just...
While we're still, like, on this huge tangent, I just wanted to ask a quick question. Were these Primarchs given a Legion, or were they... So they weren't there watching it being produced. Like, they were just...
No.
They were brought into Imperium, and they're like, here's your sons.
Pretty much, yeah. Like, Emperor would find them, he'd introduce them to the Imperium, and then introduce them to his Legion and go, these are your sons, this is your Legion. And a lot of times...
But they would all be Terran. So, like, the initial Legions were all Terran.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a lot of, like... Yeah, and then they would typically start, like, recruiting from within. Because the other thing is, like, having the Primarch also allows them, like, to harvest more gene seed. So they can rapidly... Like, if... Like, finding Fulgrim is what saved the Emperor's children. Because I think there was under 50 of them or 100 left by the time they found Fulgrim.
About 100.
Like, they'd been, like, destroyed by the Emperor. Because the Emperor was like, oh, wow, they're, like, my most successful Legion. I will just use them until they're dead.
And they also had that weird... like, every Legion had their affliction, and I can't remember the name of their affliction. It was like some kind of flesh rot or something that...
their gene seed actually rotted.
That's it, yes, the gene seed would rot. So they couldn't... So when they died, they could not take that gene seed out and implant it in other Marines. So when they died, it was gone forever. Not until they found Fulgrim.
And they were able to correct it.
Stabilize it.
So, yeah.
One of these days, I want to make a list of who is the favorites of the Emperor, like of the Primarchs. Who would he put them in order?
Oh, Sanguinius and Horus were at the top at one point.
Do like a tiered list.
I think like Sanguinius was definitely top. Horus was probably the most respected. And then like Gulliman was the only one he let do whatever he wanted. And then Dorn was the only one he actually trusted to protect him. Yeah.
Well, of course, like, Gilliman was the only one who, when he found him, he'd already built a massive empire on his own. Like, the 500 Worlds of Ultramar were already the 500 Worlds of Ultramar before the Emperor actually showed up.
Because of Dorn.
No, that was
sorry, Gilliman.
So, but Root was just like, Mike, drop. This is my whole empire, Dad. You like it? It's all yours. Cool. Yeah. This is why I'm the favorite.
I'm independent.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be your poster boy now, Dad. You cool with that?
Yeah.
Little blue on everything. Yeah. Smurf Town. Let's rock.
You see my symbol? It's a toilet seat.
Yeah. Like this, Dad? People are gonna love it. I know it looks like a toilet seat, but they're gonna love it anyway. It's ultra.
Smurf Town, population 500 worlds.
Yep.
All right. Is there anything else we wanted? So this was a whole tangent about Perturabo.
Start off Perturabo and go to a tangent about all the other Primarchs.
But you know what though? I think it does set the stage for like why Perturabo. Perturabo doesn't go to chaos necessarily. Perturabo rebels, which is also very similar to like Kurz and Angron, and even Fulgrim to some extent. Like they don't like Lorca is really the only one who like directly falls to chaos and like intentionally. The rest of them just are like done with the Imperium, done with the Emperor, and then like Mortarion, they all kind of are like, wow, this is really messed up, and then like are like, wait, there's these like allies that want to help us with this.
Exactly. they all had a reason to turn away from the Emperor for some reason. Each one of them did not like the Crusade for one reason or another. Angron didn't like it because he saw his dad as the exact same monsters that were on New Syria. Fulgrim didn't understand, like, why can't we just talk to people and be diplomatic and find peace? Perturabo was like, you chose Dorn over me.
Corn.
You. Sorry. Kurz was psychotic and was resigned to his own fate, so no matter what the Emperor said, was like, no, Dad, this is how it's going to be. I'm going to be evil, you guys are going to be good, you're going to be on a dead throne, and that's what's going to happen. And then Mortarion was just bitter towards his father because he took the one thing that he wanted to, which was kill his own dad. And that's probably a perfect time for us to lead into Mortarion.
Yes.
Yes.
I did want to say, if you are enjoying this discussion and you want to follow along, you can subscribe to Chaos Divided, and we would love it if you could. But yes, let's get into the son of Barbarous himself, Mortarion.
Yeah. So
we're going to Papa Nurgle Town.
Yeah, so back onto that reason. He was mad at his dad because his dad killed his stepdad, and he really wanted to kill his stepdad, and that's why Mortarion was so upset with the Emperor and the Imperium for the longest time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, the Death Guard also get, kind of abused and are also sent to, the worst battlegrounds with, it's like, hey, this planet's irradiated, send the Death Guard. Hey, this planet is, recently undergone, chemical bombardment, better send the Death Guard.
Yep. Oh, this planet looks like there's some kind of weird demonic creatures down there, send the Death Guard.
Yeah.
Actually, Mortarion was one of the ones that was so against the Psykers because of those actual incursions he had with those creatures, and said during the Council of Nicaea, we need to stop this. I have fought these things. You have put me in these situations. They're monstrosities. We have to just ixnay all psychic powers entirely.
And then
how was Mortarion with his legion?
Off and on. He wasn't afraid to backhand somebody.
Yeah, he had a few captains that he liked.
Yeah.
He wasn't a rank and file, go hang out with the troops kind of guy, but he had a few captains that he would confide in, and they actually interacted and got along.
There was his one group, his own personal bodyguard, that he were probably the only ones he was really, really close with, the Death Shroud.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which are so cool. I mean, got a bunch of guys with giant scythes. Just I love that. I'm all about that. That is so freaking cool. The aesthetic of that is just amazing.
I think Death Guard have one of the most, in both the Heresy times and also 40k, one of the most unique and interesting aesthetics.
Yeah. Well, it's it was a planet of farmers, and they took the tools of their trade and just turned them into their own types of weapons. I think the first thing he picked up was a giant rebar with a scythe in it, and that's what he went to town on the mutants on his home planet the first time he got into a battle with them.
Well, even just kind of being an outsider to Warhammer, even getting into it seemed like it didn't matter where you were in Warhammer, you appreciated Death Guard, or you had a Death Guard model, or a lot of people really just love Death Guard. Or just Marvel in general.
I mean, even if you look at the Dawn of War games, Plague Marines were some of the coolest units in the game.
Yep.
Plague Marines in general, I think, are one of the best understood of the slaves to darkness. This, unkillable, unrelenting, unstoppable
Force.
Goo armor set thing.
Tentacle.
Yeah, but it's this there's an inevitability to the Death Guard that I think people can appreciate it. They just you can run but you can't hide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We all kind of secretly like a zombie. We love a zombie.
Yeah, and that's basically what they are, is an army of giant super armor killer zombies with a bunch of little zombies around them, with a gigantic flying moth zombie on their side, because those are moth wings. You can't say those are not moth wings.
Have you ever this is an old video now, but there's a video, it was Delph put out about Team Fortress 2, and it was for the pyro, and it like showed the Pyros perspective, and it's like they have a giant
you saw
flamethrower
that.
and they're going around burning everything, and then like from their perspective they're like shooting rainbows at unicorns and like having this like wonderful, and I kind of feel like that's what Plague Marines are, where they're just like
That's
they're so
exactly
hopped
what
up
they
on
are.
like Nurgle's blessing that they're just like, oh, we're having a great time. They're just like, oh, ho, 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 ho.
Well,
Let
yeah,
me give
like-
you a present. And they're swinging their scythe to like give, gifts.
And they even say in the lore, like when the Plague Marines and Mortarion hears the screams, sees the plagues, sees people melting, just every disease racking their body, he's like, oh, I'm so happy you love those gifts. Like, look, your skin is boiling off. That, oh my goodness, it's amazing. I'm so glad you love these diseases that we've given you. Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad you like I'm so glad you like that. The fact that you made it puke just warms my soul.
And I think that's what makes them somewhat endearing, is that like they're having a good time.
Yeah. Like
a lot of chaos is angry.
Yes.
The Death Guard aren't angry.
No,
Mortarion's angry, but the Death Guard aren't angry.
Yeah. There's a book, The Lords of Silence, and there's one guy in there named Arkrak, and he's in the middle of a battle on the ship, and he's fighting Space Marines, and in his own mind, he's monologuing that I don't want to fight you. I just want to hug you and embrace you and tell you everything is going to be okay. You don't have to fight. We can talk. We can get along. We can understand each other. If only you would listen. And drives his knife into his brother. I think there's even one part where he's like cradling the Marine as he goes down and feeling terrible that you just could not see Nurgle's truth. Because when it comes to Nurgle and the Death Guard, like, they just see happiness. There is no sadness. There is no regret. There's no pain. There's no fear. There's just the inevitability of death and rebirth. And with that comfort, all of his followers have this maddening happiness and peace about them, which is why the Poxwalkers, they're always smiling. They have like a rictus grin. Even some of the Plague Marines are smiling underneath their masks. One of my favorite models is the Blightlord Terminators, and that one that has it's a full face plate and you can't see his eyes, but his mouth is showing on the bottom, and he has this grin from ear to ear across. That's how you see the Death Guard. They're happy, they're joyful, and they're spreading the gifts of Nurgle, and they're so happy to give them to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And your screams are thank yous to them.
Yeah.
They just want to snurgle you. They just want to whatever.
Except for Mortarion. He sees it for what it truly is, unfortunately.
No, he wants to snuggle you.
Yeah. Actually,
Mortarion's a little angrier. I think Mortarion and Nurgle have a more complicated relationship.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a love-hate. Because if you look at Mortarion versus the other Primarchs who've turned demonic, Mortarion hasn't fully given into Nurgle just yet.
Mm-hmm.
Even Typhus has said to him, and this is a straight quote from Typhus, "Father, you are not as close to me as the Plague Father as I am. If you could just accept Nurgle into your soul fully, you and I may be able to reconcile our differences. But until that day comes, we shall not."
What do you think would happen if he did?
I think Mortarion would turn into some kind of large, grotesque, bloated monstrosity.
No!
Well, I mean, look. If you look at all the other demon princes
Great
of
and clean one
Nurgle,
with wings?
well, yeah, he would be. I think he would be a slightly smaller Grand and Clean one with gigantic moth wings and more of a bug aspect. Because look
like
at the other
slug?
Well, look at the other Primarchs. You have Angron. He looks like a bloodthirster. He's a straight up bloodthirster. Fulgrim, he's taken on the form of the Lair, which when they worshipped Slaanesh, they had the snake body and the forearms. Perturabo, if the internet is true, if we know anything about that, then he's a giant obliterator. Lorgar just looks demonic in his regular plate with some other bits and pieces mutated onto him. But Mortarion, he hasn't changed. There's nothing. The only thing that's changed about Mortarion is he's bigger. His mouth grill is fused to his face entirely, and he has some boils here and there on his skin. and he has those gigantic wings. But if you look at him, he looks no different than he did during the Horus Heresy. And it's because he has not given in to Nurgle. So Nurgle hasn't fully given him those gifts because he never wanted to be a demon prince, even though when he did turn and he did give in and he smiled about all the powers that he got, he still resents the fact that he has to do this. He is a worshiper of chaos. He is a psyker, which he hates above all, so he still has that resentment even towards chaos now and Nurgle, which is kind of sad because I wish he would just, accept it.
You want him to let go.
I want to see a truly just rotten-looking Mortarion, just something abominable, just his entire bottom face melted off to show like the skeleton jaw, and one side of his arm just withered, where the other side would be just like bloated, just like all the things that encompass Nurgle in him. I want to see a really cool demon prince, but I know
the belly mouth. You gotta have the belly mouth.
Oh yeah, yeah. He talks from the belly mouth. He can no longer use his like bone face; just speaks from the belly, which from the belly. It would make sense, and it does make sense the way he is now because he hasn't given in yet. Imagine what Angron and the rest of them would look like if they didn't fully give in, but they just went.
With his moth wings turned into butterfly wings?
I think instead of just having a pair, it would burst open into a gigantic double set of like an actual butterfly, because those wings kind of look like I don't want to sound rude to Mortarion because I love the model, but they seem like kind of half Nurgle wings. Oh. Not in the design, but just it's.
They don't look like he could actually fly with them. Like Magnus's wings, I realize aerodynamically they still can't fly, but they just there's some oomph to them. Angron's wings look like they could provide some lift, whereas Mortarion's
they don't.
Mortarion is flying because of magic.
Yeah, that's what I feel like. He's not flying because of the wings, because
there's no structure to them. They're just
no, not really. And in the lore, I've heard him use his wings more for powers. Like he flaps his wings to activate gusts of the plague wind or Nurgle's rot and blows it at the enemy. So yeah, that's how I see it. He's definitely using more like flotation magic than the rest of them. Even Fulgrim. Fulgrim has a beautiful, beautiful set of giant bat wings.
Well, now that we have a Fulgrim model, that's maybe isn't 40K yet.
Asterisk.
Do we really?
Let's
open that can of worms for a minute.
Oh, I've already opened it, and I've already.
Listen. Every time I see it, I know. I can imagine how you feel.
Yeah, they were very clear to not for 40K. I was like, I will use it in 40K somehow. It has a place.
When I read that, I was like, that is the biggest kick in the teeth you have done yet.
Is it though?
I mean, you
know what though? If they're going to release a 40, because a 40K Fulgrim should look different.
Yes.
10,000 years in Slaaneish's realm,
new weapons, new gear, as they all do.
Yeah,
what's the size of that Fulgrim? Is he an actual demon prince?
Oh yeah. He's full on demon prince size. But even
the Heresy's a smaller scale slightly. The vehicles aren't, but scale? Because it's the original stubby Marines, right?
Yeah, the good old stubbies.
So Fulgrim would be the Fulgrim in 30K would be scaled to that size. Whereas I would imagine a 40K Fulgrim would be closer to Magnus maybe.
Yeah. And I do like that there may be even weapon changes, because he has that spear and those couple swords where maybe in the new version he'll have some kind of new crazy Slaanesh weapon that he'll be wielding.
Lucius has the lair blade at this point.
Yes, he does. What was it? Angron had, what was it? Originally had Gorefather and Gorechild. Then they made him a gigantic black blade with god runes etched into it, which got smashed at one point. And now he's got those two new weapons that he has. So you're probably right. They would definitely have to make a new model with new gear, new weapons, new everything for him. But how can you make one look better than that model? It looks so nice.
Oh, the face on it is so...
He's pretty.
He is,
Very
you know
pretty.
what? He's one of the only pretty models out there.
Yeah.
Gulliman isn't pretty. The lion is not pretty. But that Fulgrim model is pretty.
Even like human Fulgrim is not pretty. He's like,
yeah, he's a little too like, little
it's
too
like
angular.
They took Angron's face and slapped it on Fulgrim's face for the model. I was like, there, that works.
Yeah.
But yeah, for Mortarion, just like, yeah, I would have liked to see him just fully dive into chaos and get some kind of really cool Nurgle looking model.
But you know what? How Mortarion is it to spend 10,000 years being like, nah, I'm not gonna succumb?
Yeah,
out of spite. Like, that's a very Mortarion move to just be like,
completely.
I'll be a demon prince, but I won't be your demon prince.
Yeah, I'll be a demon prince. I ain't gonna listen to you though. Why not? I didn't listen to my dad. I ain't gonna listen to you.
My daddy issues run deep.
Oh yeah. Like, I do wonder what would have happened if the Emperor had actually let him make that kill. Like, he didn't have to step in and kill the Overlord of Barbarous. He could have captured him, brought him down to the bottom of the planet, and let Mortarion do it.
Yeah, but if he's not going to let Angron have that, why is he going to let...
Angron was so much worse. There was no rhyme or reason to what he did to Angron. Like, Mortarion, like, I understand why the Emperor did it. He could have done it differently, but Angron was just an FU to Angron entirely. Because he could have done so much more in that situation. Whereas in this situation, Perturabo, Mortarion had made his way to the highest peak of Barbarous, where his original father was at the top of, to the point where the gases, because Barbarous is just covered in this like gassy mist. It's very toxic. It's caustic. It burns the lungs. It actually eats through armor. And the higher you go up into the mountains, the thicker and more deadly and caustic it becomes. So at some point, he had fashioned a brand new suit of armor that could filter out these things. But even at a certain point, his armor started to fail. And by the time he got to the actual palace where his stepfather was living, he was just like crawling on the ground because his respirator was melted. He's breathing in the toxins. He's starting to just like lose consciousness. And the Overlord's cackling and laughing. And just as he's about to kill Mortarion, the Emperor steps in and goes, whoosh, gotcha, and kills him. And the last thing Mortarion said to his father before he lost consciousness was, I will never forgive you for this. And then passed.
And then the Emperor saved him.
You know what? The Emperor wouldn't let him kill his stepfather. Because once you let somebody kill one father, they're capable of killing another.
Yeah, of course.
So I think it was a bit of a like, I will deny you this so that it will always be denied. And I mean, it didn't work. But the Emperor also doesn't make good choices generally.
He makes terrible choices. I mean, if there's like, I'm sorry, I keep going back to Angron. If there is a calling card for the Emperor of bad choices, you just look at that situation and go, there you go. That right there. That encompasses the Emperor's thought process on decisions.
Does he make any good decisions?
No.
Really none. Like, even making the Primarchs was a bad idea.
Yeah.
Like, what is this whole Emperor protects, but what is he protecting?
Well, he's supposed to protect humanity, but...
Yeah, but he doesn't protect humans, he protects humanity. The Emperor does not care about humans. He cares about the species. It's
the idea.
The Emperor is based off of, if you've read any of the Dune novels, like the Leto II, who's the God Emperor of Dune, who is his only concern becomes the survival of humanity. And, like, he is willing to dump billions of lives in order to save the species, and like that is what the Emperor is like very much rooted in, is that like God Emperor that is there to protect humanity, but like individual lives, even mass individual lives, are meaningless to the Emperor.
Well, like 10,000 psychers are to keep him alive every day, isn't it?
And that's like meaningless to him. Like he doesn't care.
The means fit. What's the phrase? The
ends justify the means.
Yeah, the ends justify the means. Like he has no problem with any decision that kills billions upon billions of people, as long as the end result is humanity will survive a little bit longer. That's the only thing he ever cares about. I think earlier on in the Crusade, he had a different point of view, but like Laura said,
even then, I don't know.
Well, I think when he made the Primarchs, because his original idea of what, like, he wanted to take humanity go out into the stars and claim the Milky Way galaxy. He had the right idea to reunite all the colonies and bring humanity back into the fold. But when he made the Primarchs and made that deal with Chaos, I believe he was tainted. Something happened. Because there's a theory out there that all the Primarchs encompass some form of emotion or spiritual belief or something of the Emperor. Like Lorgar is his religious belief. Corax is his... maybe not Corax, but Angron is his anger. Rabute Gilliman is his logic and problem solving. The Lion is his secretiveness. They all... Sanguinius was his love. And that's why they believe that when Sanguinius was killed, the Emperor got that love back, and why he couldn't kill Horus in those moments. They believe that there's some people believe that every one of the Primarchs, he put something of himself into them, and then he just became this cold, stone-like individual that, like you said, the means justify the end. Like, I don't care whatever happens, as long as humanity keeps going, we're going to keep going down this path.
Mm-hmm. So when this Primarch dies, he gets that back?
That's what I think. I mean, I believe that theory, because the Emperor was able to, like, if you believe some of the theories in the lore, he was able to make the decision for killing 2 of his sons and 2 legions entirely. He had no problem sending the wolves to go get Magnus and bring him back to Terra to answer for his crimes. Could have been imprisoned, could have been death sentence, we don't know. But when it came to Horus, after Sanguinius died, the Emperor couldn't find it in himself to kill Horus because he loved him. And he'd already told several other Primarchs that I don't look at you as sons, you are tools. Mm-hmm. You are a means to an end. You are an end goal. That's what you are to me. I think he said that to Corax. You're not my son. You are a weapon.
Ouch.
Yeah. But then you look at Horus. Now it could be because Horus was the first one they found, but I believe that when Sanguinius died, the Emperor got back those emotions, and then he couldn't kill Horus because deep down, I think the Emperor realized that if I want to be able to take the entire galaxy back for humanity, I have to delete all humanity from myself so I can accomplish those goals. Because if I let any of my emotions block my thought process and path, I'm going to slip up. Mm-hmm. That's what I believe. So he did that.
He purged himself of all emotions so he could slip up every time instead.
Yep. When you have no emotions, you're realizing it's not exactly the greatest thing. You just mess up even more.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to pull my son from the planet before everything's killed. This is a good idea. Are you sure about that? No, it's a great idea because I said it.
Yeah. I mean, we could have a whole episode about the Emperor, I think, and it would be.
I think we should.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I like that. That sounds.
You know what? I think we would need to do the Loyalist Primarchs first. I feel like we would need to talk through them because you got to get all the daddy issues on the table before you talk about the Emperor.
Yeah. Air out all the laundry before you go to the laundromat.
All right. So that was Mortarion. Now we do have a bonus. Do we want to get into the bonus?
Or do we want to make that into the... I don't know, do we? We've been talking about for an hour, or do we want to make that into its own episode?
I'm just saying,
with him and maybe other champions.
Oh, the other champions, yes.
I mean, that's a limitless content now.
There are 5 champions. Wait, 5? Technically 5, yes. Well, technically, you got the 4 of the champions of the gods, and then you got the main guy, but then you have all those offshoot
people
moves.
Listening are like, what are they talking about?
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
We are talking about
Lucius is the champion of Slaanesh, and the
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
You got Lucius, champion of Slaanesh, Typhus, champion of Nurgle.
I think we save it because this was the heretic Primarchs, and
fair.
Perhaps he needs one on his own because I think we would be here for another half an hour talking about him.
Oh, Lucius? Hell yeah.
No.
Who?
Our bonus. Our bonus was
going
to be
our bonus
the
will
War Master, Abaddon.
Abaddon the War Master.
You know what? Okay, yeah, maybe we can set a little bit of the tone because, like, if we talk about 30k Abaddon's actually a bit of a like wiener. So, which is
Bloodgod would tell me like how he was found and he had like his top knot was down.
It was all
and
scraggly, mismatched armor. It's like he just comes out, stop breaking the servo skulls on my ship. What does he do? First thing, he brings him in the room and goes, "Here, what's this? It's alcohol. I made it. You're making alcohol? Yeah, I threw some demons in a vat and distilled them. It's pretty good." The only one who likes it is the world eater among them. Like, this is pretty good stuff.
An actual demon.
Yeah, he like
cure.
Well, in the moment he was telling them, he took discharge from the fuel cells of his ship. There was some old what was it? Ectoplasm from the engines that he was taking and distilling through some stuff. He had bound demons to a barrel and burned them down into a sludge that he was now filtering and bringing this all together, boiling it, filtering it out, and just made this like blue glowing alcohol that to the to Azak Araman. No, not Azak Araman. It was Iskander. He's like, this is like filth. But Leheor is drinking like, this is the best stuff I've ever had. Oh my god. Just standing there doing shots with Abaddon while having a conversation with Telemachon, the other guy, going, is he serious? Are we still going to take the ship? Oh yeah, that's right. We came to take your ship.
There needs to be like a recipe book.
I think he does make the recipe. He does. Oh.
All right. Well, you know what? You've convinced me. We'll leave Abaddon and Friends.
Yep, Abaddon and Friends.
Another episode because you know what, Abaddon. Because Abaddon in 40k, after being humiliated for 12 Crusades, Arcs of Omen I think really redeemed him.
Oh, I'm on a different page where I don't think he was that humiliated. I think he actually accomplished a lot more than people think in a lot of those 12 Crusades.
No, but that's what I mean. Like the Arcs of Omen made those 12 Crusades make sense.
Oh,
they provided a lot of context as to like, Abaddon maybe did have a plan the whole time, and like he wasn't just running back to the Eye of Terror. He was like lulling the Imperium into complacency.
He was accomplishing goals as he was going.
Yeah. No, Abaddon was playing, 5-dimensional chess, and Cadia was not. So
Abaddon was playing the Long War.
Ooh, like a veteran.
Yep, like a veteran of the Long War. Oh.
So, yeah, you know what? I think Abaddon definitely deserves a little bit of a, and also, you know what? I think it's finally gotten a bit of a. His new model is wicked. Abaddon has gotten some love.
And considering his love, you actually just finished his model, didn't you? Or you did the...
I did. I finally found the right colors, and I did finish Abaddon. Made him look a little bit, polished him up. Fabadon, the despoiler of gender. That's
I want to see it. You
can see it. It's on my Insta pics on the gram.
If there was ever a model that needed a makeover, it was the old Abaddon. I was in pain when we had to use that thing through 8th edition. I don't think I even put it on the table because of that.
The old Abaddon was on the same level as like old Gazgul, just like it was silly hammer remnants. It was like.
I remember someone telling me, like, why don't you use Abaddon? You get an extra CP and you get this. Like, no, I don't care. The model's trash. I don't care. I'd rather lose than use that model.
And now he's hilarious on his big burly base. He's so hard to like get away from. It's funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, he got his rightful place as War Master, mostly because nobody else wanted it. But
oh yeah, I know. Well, there was
which actually, you know what?
Yeah.
I was going to say, with Fulgrim coming back, you'll have the 4 Monogod Primarchs back. I wonder if they'll let Abaddon keep the War Master title. Because part of the Arcs of Omen is also that like Fulgrim gets annoyed at Abaddon for all of the like everything he's up to.
That is very true.
Do you think Abaddon will get dethroned?
You know what?
Because like he's War Master only because none of the Primarchs want it.
Yeah.
Well, he's also made demonic pacts with them. I don't know if he's made one with Fulgrim, but I know he's made a pact with Mortarion, Angron, and Magnus.
But that's just it, if Fulgrim wants it.
But you know what? I think the only thing stopping Fulgrim is what's in Abaddon's hand. That sword. Draknayan. That sword is just like the Emperor's sword. It cuts through something, it's gone.
Yeah, but they're not gonna bring Fulgrim back and then kill him.
And that's very true. That is very true.
Banished.
But more so like a little bit of drama, I think is what, because Fulgrim's all about that drama.
Yeah.
Oh,
and I can see that being a little bit of like, you know, I can see Fulgrim getting the other demon Primarchs to like maybe rebel against Abaddon, because Abaddon also doesn't like the Chaos Gods.
No,
whereas like all especially the 4 monogod ones, like they are, other than Mortarion maybe, are quite enthralled to their respective gods at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So like I can see, you know, Fulgrim coming out to like push Abaddon maybe into actually succumbing to the gods, because that's also part of it, is Abaddon won't actually commit to any of the Chaos Gods at all.
Yeah, because
he has their favor out of like position, not out of like
they love him and they hate him. The Chaos Gods are constantly trying to tempt Abaddon, but also punish him at the same time for not just following what. Yeah, that's it's literally like they're playing a game around him, and Abaddon is like, as far as I'm concerned, Abaddon is winning the game. He's winning against everybody.
Now, though.
Well, he's not taken any of their gifts. The only gift he's taken was Draknayan, and they bestowed their marks upon him, but he's never actually like asked for them. They're like, here, take this. It's like, imagine he's the wallflower, and all the Chaos Gods are there with their suits holding flowers. He's just like, nah. And sometimes he goes, takes all the flowers, and they're like, well, you can't do that. Yeah, I can. Why not? What you gonna do about it?
But then now you have Fulgrim entering the picture.
Abaddon's like, who loves me more? It just turns into a giant pissing contest for the gods of which one gets to have Abaddon. He's sitting there going, nah.
Well, and I can even see like him working with Vashtor is also just to destabilize the Chaos Gods, to like create more conflict.
I think they had a conversation, and one of the things that Abaddon really liked about Vashtor was he's like, I spit on the gods. He's like, ooh, I like you.
He's not Fabius Bile level, like still an atheist. He at least acknowledges the Chaos Gods.
Yeah, he'll acknowledge them.
That is one of my favorite stories about Fabius Bile, is that he met Slaanesh and was just like, gods still aren't real though.
Sorry, not real.
Yeah, it was like, oh, you're just an entity. You're a warp entity. You're not a god.
Yeah, you're just stuff.
So that's just like, what?
I was burned.
How dare you? Yeah, say something else.
I love Fabius.
Yeah, Fabius is that should be an episode in
itself. We should add him in the Abaddon. Him, Lucius.
He's the champion of atheism. That's his role in 40k.
Yeah, you got champion of atheism, champion of chaos, champion of the 4 Chaos Gods, champion of taking Abaddon down. Here on Blackheart, just for everyone out there who knows who I'm talking about. Yeah, I think that'd be really cool.
All right.
There we go. All right. Yeah. Well, any last thoughts?
We finally concluded after 3 episodes, Laura.
I know. Our 1-part became a 2-part, became a 3-part.
And now it's going to be a 4-part, and then a 5-part, and then a 6-part. I'm never going away.
No, that'll be a different series.
Fair.
Yeah.
We'll do it. The Champions of Chaos, I think, would be fun. And you know what? You might not be a loyalist lover, but I feel like that'll make you better at critically analyzing them. Why they're all silly gooses.
Oh yeah, a lot of people think the chaos worshippers are just a bunch of silly gooses, but then when you dive into them, like they're onions. They got some thick layers. They got lots of layers to them. Karn especially. I can't wait to talk about him.
The Chaos Space Marines are the ones that look at the Imperium and they're like, "Hey, this is messed up. Like, yeah, weird."
Yes, that's what I tell everybody when they ask me why I play Chaos. Like, it's freedom. They get to do whatever they want. They get to make their own choices. There's no one that's ruling them. They are their own masters. That's why I choose them. It's true freedom. What, you want to be part of a dogmatic religion that hates you for like not worshiping them, not listening to them, or just thinking anything outside the realm of what their circular thought is?
It's just propaganda everywhere.
Yep. Oh, you don't like
We're talking
propaganda?
about servo skulls. The servo skulls are criminals that have been lobotomized, but the definition of a crime in the Imperium is pretty broad.
Oh yeah, it's very broad.
Sometimes the crime is just being alive in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when the Inquisition's around.
Well, any of the interactions between like Chaos Space Marines when they meet like the Black Templars or something, and they're just like, "You guys are not okay. Like, what happened to you? Like especially like because
What is
not every
happening?
Chaos Space Marine they don't experience time in the same way. So you got ones that are like they only think it's been like a couple hundred years since the heresy, and they come out some Black Templars just like losing their mind in tongues, and they're just like, whoa, where am I? Like,
I remember that there was that one dude, he's like eating the brain of a Templar, sees all the images, and they're like, "Are you okay?" He's like, "How long have we been gone? Oh my god."
they're like, I might have hung out with some Chaos Gods, but like I'm not that into it. Like, what do you guys do? Like, we thought the Imperium was secular. Like, what is happening?
You call us worshippers of chaos? What the
Right.
hell is that?
Like most Chaos Space Marines think like the word bearers are weird for worshiping the Chaos Gods,
Yeah.
and like most of them have fallen to them, and they're still just like, those guys are weird. And they see like Imperial Space Marines, and they're just like, no, that's not okay.
Oh, yeah. They come out and see a Black Templar dreadnought with an Imperial soldier and an orc in each hand, spinning them around, going, "Praise be the Emperor! Praise be the Emperor!" And they're just like, "Can we go back in the warp? Like, this is no. Can we just this is messed up."
I don't feel safe here. These people are not like.
And these are the good guys?
Yeah.
I don't want to kill crazy people.
I was like, can we just like?
Does it feel fair?
Can we talk? Wait, what happened to you guys? "I will slay you. I will destroy you in the name of the Emperor." I just want to talk. That's all I want to do. Can we have a discussion?
I was just here for like some sandwiches, man. Like, I just haven't eaten in like 500 years. Like,
The Emperor's children come out of the warp in their ships. They're just with a sandwich on the deck, just like,
just like, you think like the Emperor's children come out of like Slaanesha's realm, and they're just like, they're the crazy ones.
Yeah.
Like, they're like looking at like the Ultramarines, and they're just like, they're not okay.
Yeah, they come back through the warp like, "You guys weren't gone long." No. Where's the flesh pits? I need to relax.
Right?
I need a spa day.
Yeah,
I need to go
I need a
somewhere sane. All right. Well, on that fun note, talking about flesh pits. Thank you for joining us.
Glad to be here as always.
Yes, and thank you to BloodGod for your amazing insight into all of the Primarchs.
I'd even say more just zany, crazy, off-the-wall tangents, but they're amazing. I love it. This has been great, and I really like doing this with you guys. This is just... Laura, thank you for having me on the show. Kaylee, thank you for having me on the show. Like, I love doing this with you. It's great.
We love having you on. So much fun.
You're a Chaos Divided regular now.
Yeah.
Well, we need a Zinch, Nurgle, Slanesh, Korn. Just need a Zinch.
No, Magnus is wrong. We're okay.
Okay.
We're okay.
Magnus is still a royalist. Deep down, Magnus is still a royalist.
Right?
He had his opportunity to kill the Emperor, and he didn't.
What heretic doesn't kill the Emperor when presented with the option?
Right?
Not a good one.
I just see him going back, and then Fogum slapping him on the back. And it's like, what is wrong with you? You had the opportunity, you didn't take it.
Yeah.
Leave me alone. I'm gonna go read a book.
Right. Magnus. Yeah.
Yep.
I think we're okay without a Zinch.
Zinchers are weird. They're just weird.
Garrow could be Zinch.
Yeah, Garrow's
Zinch.
Yeah. And to our listeners, don't forget to subscribe to Chaos Divided, both here and on Instagram and YouTube at Chaos Divided 40K. And you can find us both on social media. I guess all three of us.
Mm-hmm.
You really want to get... What is your handle, BloodGod?
Oh, don't look me up. I'm not that interesting.
At TeamBloodGod on Instagram.
There we go. And at Nurgle _Snurgle and at Blushing Noise Marine. And until next time, Bye-bye.
Ciao for now.
See ya.